Shinto, meaning the way of kami, is one of the top 12 major religions of the world that holds over 0.5% of the world's population, with over 4 million worldwide followers. The densest population of Shinto is located in Japan, with over 70% of the people that follow and partake in the traditional rituals of the religion. Some rituals you may even heard of, like for example, sumo wrestling or bathing in a cold bath while chanting to the kami god. But what exactly is Shinto as a religion? Well, to explain and understand this, let's first look at the history of the religion. We all know that Japan has the most Shinto followers among the world. This is because Shinto originated in Japan and was even its national religion. Shinto was very involved in Japan's decisions. They even believed that the most important kami, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, daughter of Izanagi and Izanami, was related to Japan's imperial family. Also, unlike Christianity or Buddhism, Shinto didn't even have a founder. It didn't even have a name. It was considered a native religion where you just pray to many kami gods and sometimes give offerings to personal valuables. It wasn't even until the late 6th century AD, roughly around 570 AD, the religion was brought a name, which is obviously now known as Shinto, the translation of which means the way of kami, and I mentioned this in the start of the video. The reason why it was even given a name in the first place was to distinguish between Buddhism, which was around that time vastly spreading around Asia, that even some Shinto followers would get confused from each. Well, this was mostly because of the similarities, but we'll get to that later. The confusion between these religions even caused some overlap, where some Buddhists believed that some of the kami gods were reincarnations of Buddha. But over the years, these two religions lived hand to hand, and sometimes you would even see people that believed in both the religions. I know, weird, right? In order for me to explain the reason behind this, we must next look at the what aspect of Shintoism. To start, Shinto can be categorized as a polytheistic religion, which means that Shinto has many gods, so much so that the religion has 8 million of them. This number is sometimes even used as a staple of identity for the religion. It also has a different meaning, but we'll get to that later. These gods are much more different than the normal gods or deities we all know. First, they're not even called gods, they're called kamis, which in English translates to the divine being or spiritual force. It is a perfect, simple explanation of what it is. Let me elaborate. There are two characteristics of kami. One, on one hand, is spiritual force or energy that is in everything and anything. That includes you, me, your pet dog, and even the bed you sleep in every day. Everything includes everything. This kami is known as kami essence, and it is what is used to connect us to the world. But this isn't what the kami Shinto followers worship. The kami that is in the translation of the word Shinto is also called kami, but they are completely different. So, to not get confused, I am going to be calling it kami gods. These gods are gods that Shinto believers praise to, and it is what the religion is all about. Even though they sound like gods, they are, as a matter of fact, different. Some even say calling them gods are wrong. Unlike most gods, the kami gods aren't fixed in number, since anything can be a god, even rocks and mountains. As a matter of fact, the famous Mount Fuji is considered a kami god that is worshipped as much as normal kami gods. As I said before, there are 8 million of them. Even though the number is true, it is also used as a symbol to say that there are infinite number of kami gods. But the most important ones are usually human, or take form of a human, like Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi. The other difference that separates kami gods and normal gods is that kami gods can and are sometimes evil, and they are also why people do evil things. An example of an evil god is Susanoo, the storm god who spreads evil through the human realm and causes destruction. There are also ways you can contact these men. Shintoism has a very simple answer to the question of what is beyond death. Shinto believers believe that after death, your kami essence is released into the world and recycled. As this does sound like the reincarnation from Hinduism, from the process of samsara and atman, it is completely different. As a matter of fact, you don't get reincarnated back to the human realm. In reality, only your kami essence gets reincarnated. Your actual soul, however, does instead stay in a place called the other world of heaven, which isn't heaven or hell, but just the place your spirit resides. Its outer most important belief system is the 4 fundamental beliefs, or the 4 affirmations. These are positive declarations of belief that make you part of the religion, and they are: number 1, tradition and family. understanding that family is the foundation of preserved traditions and is what holds and keeps Shintoism and its religion, rituals, celebrations, and all the other belief systems all together. Number 2, love of nature, which means holding nature sacred. This belief or affirmation mostly comes from the belief of Anism, which declares that everything and anything in this world has a soul, or kami. Number 3, ritual purity. Ritual bathing to spiritually and physically cleanse yourself before entering a shrine or to worship the kami. Ritual bathing is also very popular among other traditions, like for example Muslim traditions of wudu, where washing of the body is necessary before prayer. Now, last but not least, matsuri, worshipping and honoring gods and ancestral spirits, which is exactly what Shintoism is about. In Shintoism, there aren't any absolute moral set of rules that judge the intentions, good or bad, of the people. And since the religion doesn't have a founder or a rule book, the morals are mostly abstract and they are mostly simple concepts like keeping peace and purity. This stems from the fact that Shintoism believes that all humans are pure from the start and only do evil things not by intention, but from the evil spirits that enter the world and disrupt the way of kami. Like for example, thoughts are only dictated by evil kami gods and only acted on when you fall to their temptations. Even though there isn't any official holy book or written scriptures that have moral rules that must be followed, there are some basic rule of thumb most Shintoism believers abide by. Examples of bad actions are killing living beings or even destroying rocks. An example of a good action is treating family with respect. This is because Shintoism believes family is of high importance. Respectfully, this answer is very similar to any other normal faith. In Japan and many other countries that are abundant of Shintoism have priests called kanushihi. And just like the neighboring religion of Buddhism, anybody, man or female, can be kanushihi. But their roles are what strays away from normal. Even though they are the priests of the temple, he or she isn't there to lecture, preach, or act as a spiritual leader to the people. Their main role is to make sure there is satisfactory relation between the kami and the worshippers. Do this through offerings, invokings of the kami, meditations of the deity blessings to the people at the shrine, keeping maintenance of the Shinto shrine, and leading in Shinto shrine ceremonies or rituals on request of worshippers. The followers of the religion are obviously the people that believe in Shintoism, and their role is to follow kanushihi in celebration, rituals, and ceremonies, and also offerings of their item belongings to the kami gods. There are many myths and legends in this ancient Japanese religion, my favorite of which is the story of creation. The origin myth story was said that the sister and brother Izanagi and Izanami were the two first kami gods. In this myth story, it was said that Japan was the first ever to be created. It was created by Izanagi and Izanami with a spear after poking at what seemed like nothing. It was also then the rest of the world was created. Eventually, the two married each other and they had multiple kids. Among them was known as Amaterasu, the sun goddess. Although Shinto doesn't have lots of holy books or scriptures, it does, however, have some historical books of Japan that includes the religious teachings of Shinto. These books are called Kojoki and Nihon Shoki Kojoki. In translation, the meaning of these words mean the recordings of ancient matter. These ancient books can be tracked all the way back to the 8th century. The writings include myths of the 4 main islands of Japan and the stories of the kami, and also have some other creation stories. There are many rituals of Shinto, as the soul of the faith is based off rituals. 89% of them praise many kami gods. You could either go to a Shinto shrine to pray, or you can even do it at home. Shinto also have many famous annual traditions, one of which is the Setsuba festival. This day is special as they mark the day before the official day of spring. It is set on February 3rd each year. In this day, priests of Shinto dress in classic costumes of Shinto. Members join in process of purification by throwing bean bags for believers and visitors to catch. Also, they all do this while chanting "Get out, ogre," and "Come in happiness." The festival is well known around Japan, and it is also known as the bean throwing ceremony. Shinto also has many different symbols of the faith, my favorite of which is probably most known as the Torii Gates. They are two post gateways made of wood or stone, and they mark the entrance of Shinto shrines. The Torii Gates symbolize entry point to where kami live and are used to purify people that walk through it. So now that I've explained the ins and outs of Shintoism, let's compare it to the neighboring religion of Buddhism. To better understand and easily organize my information, I'm going to do it in chart form. One side will have Shintoism and the other will have Buddhism. This chart will differentiate the three main differences of the religions. The first one is the place of worship. The second one being what or who to worship. And last but not least, the way of life. The way of life is actually the main reason why these two coexist. Shinto is a stem from Anism, meaning everything and anything has spiritual energy, as I've explained before. And because of this, Shintoism doesn't have a goal. Instead, Shintoism today is regarded as a way of life. So, since forms of Buddhism, mostly the Mahayana Buddhists, believe that in order to reach enlightenment faster, they can easily pray to other gods that have already reached enlightenment. And so, since some of these Buddhists believe that the gods are reincarnations of the Buddha, these two religions can easily coexist, and even some passing as believers of both religions. And that's Shintoism in a few minutes. Thanks for watching and see you later. And that's Shintoism in a few minutes. Thanks for watching and see you later.